had to start again because my alarm that came in turned that off. All of those people, or maybe not Lincoln, I'm not sure, but every single one of those people, and I named 3 people, and that's not by all means, those are just the sort of the people who represent that general fucking cesspit. They're all lefties, they're all bleeding hearts, they're all extremely judgmental, very callous, just unbelievably self-entitled, you know, angry, envious, miserable. I mean, they've all talked about, and I don't think it's just a trick. I don't think it's just a trick to get sympathy. I really do believe it. They are miserable. They are miserable. I really do believe when they say that, you know, they've always had bouts of feeling suicidal or made attempts to feel suicidal or are anxious, depressed, fear abandonment. You know, I really fucking believe that. I really, really fucking do. They're great at social justice. Yeah, especially the things that don't fucking exist as problems in the first place. And I'm ashamed to say that I come from a family definitely of considerably higher quality people, but I would rate the quality of human beings objectively rather than, you know, relatively. I would regard humans in general as being. I rate humans pretty fucking low on the whole. You know, ethics, compassion, justice, fairness. Willingness to, you know, just willingness to lift a fucking finger, you know. Just so fucking few and far apart, you know. And I've no doubt that quite a few people have, and there'll be thousands of people like me suffering in New Zealand. This is very much systemic. Thousands of people like me, not like me, but are suffering like me by this fucking. I mean, it's a corrupt government. It's not corrupt in necessarily the sense that it's sort of taking bribes or anything like that, but it's just corrupt in that every individual shitty person in it doesn't give a shit, and no one will fucking pull anyone up, and everyone fucking loves a common enemy. So people who hate each other's guts will unite in glee and sudden renewed friendship to, you know, target and persecute somebody, and we know that's true. So I still, like, yeah, the torture of falling apart is that it's not comprehensive, and I fall apart and I'm like, fuck man, I don't care. I'm gonna be like I died because it's getting so close. I don't know if I just don't know if I've got the balls to kill myself. Because the things that I have available to me are you know, good shots, but I can't do a dummy run. And I don't know, like, yeah, I my plan has sort of more evolved to, I mean, who knows, like, I mean, things fucking change. My last suicide attempt kicked in plan kicked in real quick. Like, I made a very quick judgment. It wasn't impulsive whatsoever. I had a plan that was set up. It just was supposed to be engaged a bit later, and I was supposed to be a bit more prepared. But I fucking engaged that plan real fast, and it didn't work. But I was like, right, time to fucking push the buttons, and it didn't work. And so who knows? I mean, I don't know, because I don't know. I know my mind, but I don't know what I'm going to be faced with. And but I suspect, like, I was at this point where I was just like, I'm just going to be lying in bed when the bailiffs turn up, and fuck it, like, I don't fucking care. Like, when you're just so broken, you don't even fucking care, and you're like, I don't know exactly what happens. Did they just take you out on the street? I don't know. It'll be midwinter. I'll crawl under a bush and die overnight of exposure. I don't know. But I'm just not anymore. And then fuck yourself, but fucking hope comes along again, or a bit more like wherewithal comes along, and just don't know. And I feel really sick at the moment. Like, I feel very, very, very unwell, and I assume it's just the intensification of the stress and the persecution. But it's possible. I haven't ruled out cancer, because one thing that I did decide to not do is get colonoscopies anymore, and I have a very high risk of bowel cancer, and so I have to get polyps cut out. Like, the first colonoscopy I had, like, we had to, like, stop the hospital was fucking closing, so we just had to stop cutting out polyps. It was just like we ran out of time. So, like, it's not just a colonoscopy checking if there are any polyps there, it's a colonoscopy checking how many polyps have grown, what type they are, removing them, getting them, analysed at pathology and histograms and all that fucking shit, and one of the sort of cancer places has got a little bit she got a wee bit heightened about the fact that I haven't gone, and I'm like, this is way better than trying to die of kidney failure. Like, so yeah, I don't know. I really don't feel well. Like, I'm really tired. Like, my breathing is quite sort of laboured sometimes, and I don't think it's anything. I don't think it's like a lung disease or something, but it's just like, I think I'm just so fucking tired, and my legs are now starting to, like, it's not just a feeling of tiredness and a feeling of weakness, it's really like my legs just aren't going to keep holding me up sometimes, and no. And about a week ago, things got real bad because of stuff that's happening that I can't stop, and I just really you know, I really hit the ground pretty hard, and I just said, oh, I've got to go. Like, I've got to go into respite. Like, I just have to. Like, whatever happens, I just have to. I need someone to care for me. And the thing is, I can't even get myself there. I don't even know how to pack. Like, when you get that bad, like, you're fucking helpless. Like, I was too fucked to go to respite. Like, and the tenancy tribunal was just like, you've had plenty of time to find a lawyer. You can raise these issues in the hearing. And it's like sometimes I've had my dishes in the sink all fucking day. And I was lying in bed this morning, and I thought I'll try and capture all my thoughts so I can at least put them down on paper, because I've got to fucking get myself organised somehow. Cross this impenetrable barrier of my cognitive disabilities. And I just thought, look, I'll just write everything down, which was always my ADHD thing. Before I knew I had ADHD thing, just get everything down on paper. And then it's sort of less stressful. And by the time I got my pad, my big pad here, and a pen, and went back to bed, it had all just gone again, you know. And all I managed to write down was neuroimaging for brain trauma, because I just got to the point where it's just like, I really, really, really want to see like an MRI or a, I don't know if CTs pick up this kind of stuff, but I really want to see what the structure of my brain is looking like at the moment, what's lighting up. I'm sure that I have serious brain injury. I'm really quite sure of it. And I really want something to show. And I also just kind of want to know, like, because I feel like I've got to just stop punishing myself. Like, I'm trying so hard. I can't do it. And I was thinking about, like, how can I get some help? Because I can't get a lawyer. I was thinking maybe I was looking at a student job search, and I was looking up what's minimum wage, and it's like, okay, well, I won't pay minimum wage. I'll pay at least $24. Because I have a little bit of money, but not very much. But I can maybe pay about 10 for 10 hours. Like, I thought maybe I could get a law student or a business student or a social work student, or just someone like, is there someone who's really good at, really organised and really good at listening, who can just help me, like. And the thing is that it said in the job ad, like, you have to be really specific about what the conditions are and what it is that you want, and it's like, but that's kind of what I need someone to tell me. Yeah, so the reason for this double video is that it's technically double just because it broke, because I had that alarm that triggered the stop button. It started because I wanted to, so I was going to go into Te Ao Marama instead of respite, which was the first idea, but I was really gun-shy about it because it meant going in as an inpatient, and I'm fucking terrified of fucking Hal Morton ever getting their fucking hands on me again, and like fucking Nurse Ratchet lol. Oh my god, you know. I feel like she'd be quite nice to talk to. Comforting. Fuck. It's not a Hal Morton facility, and it's not a hospital, but it does require being an inpatient anyway, for reasons that I don't know, but seem, you know, perfectly plausible. And so I do need to get a referral from a psychiatrist from a Hal Morton. And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to take a risk on this. So I have got an appointment, and I should feel very lucky for it because they're very scarce. But the thing is, all sorts of things, like, I'm not going to go into my reservations, but one of the problems is that, you know, I said to the person who rang me on the phone, either a nurse or a social worker, probably a nurse, who told me about the appointment yesterday, and I was just like, how do I need to prepare for this? Because it's assessing me to see if I make the, you know, if I meet criteria for te ao marama, which is, you know, reasonably sought after, as it's a quite trauma-focused place. We get round-the-clock care. God, you know, I'm never lonely. I just want some fucking kindness. I want a break from being blamed for everything. Everything. Anyway, the nurse or whomever it was I spoke to, she said, you don't need to prepare. She's got, the consultant psychiatrist has the notes from your GP, and she'll just be clarifying some information. And it's like, well, I haven't had this kind of psych consult before, but I've had enough experience to know that when people say you don't need to prepare, what they mean is, we assume that you are fully functional and can just answer questions about your own life and have no problems recalling events, especially not traumatic events. And that, I mean, we ask us for, oh, well, we don't need a specific, just a ballpark. That's like, yeah, I fucking know you mean a fucking ballpark. I don't have a fucking ballpark. I couldn't even fucking give you the same universe. It would be a guess. I could guess. I could say, I'm not sure, but it could be Neptune. You know? I can't give you a ballpark. I could just give you a fucking radically incorrect answer. So I thought I would like just keep a bit of a journal, rather than try and like explain from scratch. Just keep a bit of a journal, and rather than do it on video like I've been doing it, try to write. But it's just so hard. Like, I just don't think I can. And the thing is that even though it's in the HDC Code of Patient Rights, that communication has to be provided for, you know, in a way that the patient can both understand and communicate outwardly, you know, that is the duty of the health or disability practitioner, which I think that's a wee bit, you know, again, it's like, you know, bring, you know, I to me that feels like a little bit too entitled. It's just like, you know, like, but whether or not I think that that's morally justified, it's like the only fucking way that you can hear someone's story when they're incapacitated, why is asking a list of questions that makes sense to you, why do you think that you're going to get the answers from a person who is really fucked? You know? And I don't mean I'm crazy, because I'm not fucking crazy. I mean I'm really, really cognitively damaged. I'm really traumatized. I've left stress and gone into a fucking new, like, you know, I'm like, stress is a goldfish. I'm in the fucking megalodon, you know, like. So I thought I would, like, to start, and I went for a walk, and I thought I'll just try and figure out how to do this, and I can't. Like, my brain is always like, it's just like this, always in front of my face, always in front of my face. Like, I can't hold on to an idea or a decision long enough to make it into a fucking plan. And I'm like the planning fucking person. I'm like the organization person. Like, that's always, not always, but that was like my big, like, gestalt kind of moment where I was so sick of living in fucking chaos, and I just took whatever I could find to learn how to fucking organize, plan, schedule. And I'm, like, exceptionally good at that. But people don't understand that I don't. No, I said to someone, I said, you know, Possum Born was really good at driving before he died. You know, I said that to Mitchell. I said, you wouldn't, like, look at Possum Born like, I don't know what he looked like when he died, but you wouldn't stand over him going, listen, man, and sit up, put your helmet back on, turn on the motor. I don't drive. This is how I imagine it works. You know, it's like, bro, he's dead. It's not that he doesn't know how to drive a car, he's dead. And that's, like, kind of like what's happened to me, right? Like, I know all about organisation skills, but my thoughts are just, you know, it's like, even Flo, Pearl Jam, his thoughts arrive like butterflies. You know, it's not craziness. I guess maybe he was a vet. I don't know. I can't fucking keep a fucking thought in my head. And when my mum had PTSD from years ago, and I was not very sympathetic. Partly because I'm, you know, she and I don't have the most functioning relationship, and it was pretty horrible to her, but, you know, this backstory and stuff. She had PTSD, and she was going through a whole horrible lot of stuff with a workplace that had basically caused her PTSD, and she was lucky enough to be funded by a family member to hire an extremely good employment lawyer for a lot of hours. And it didn't go to court, it went to mediation. And Yeah, anyway, I don't think it matters anymore. But anyway, as we were advised, all she could say is, I can't disclose any details, but I'm happy. So she was vastly over prepared. I mean, barely anything that she brought with her needed to be looked at. But so she had that preparation going on in the background of her PTSD, and it was, it's not an entirely dissimilar, it's not entirely disanalogous. Did I make up a word, or does that word exist? For my situation, it's kind of like that kind of meta thing. It's like the thing that's causing you the PTSD is the thing that you have to use your poor broken PTSD brain to sort of solve or work on. And she lived a little bit out of town at that point, not much out of town, just a wee bit out of town, the Greater Wellington area, and I would stay with her occasionally, and it was just like, after the first lovely 4 hours, we would just be like, fucking, yeah, just, it was just hammer and tongs the whole time mostly. And I would not regard myself, I think I'm a decent person, but I'm not a very nice person, I don't think, because I'm really intolerant. I'm really, really intolerant. I mean, interpersonally, like, people fucking bug me, very badly bug me. I'm allergic to people. I love superficial relationships. I love it. I don't know why introverts say that they hate superficial relationships. It's just like, fuck, I thrive on those. I thrive on them. I love interacting with someone just to the point that we get to know each other. And then stop. It's great. I fucking love it. Love it. I really do. And I rely on that a lot around the village around here. Like, I can just have these, and it's not that I don't know them, and it's nice. It's really nice. It's just that we don't. The deepest conversation that I had was in the liquor store about herds of cows being electrocuted in a thunderstorm. Yeah, and I had the fucking good sense to say, yeah, anyway, whatever. I didn't disclose any personal information, but I was the one with the story. But she had also had her fair share of stories because she lived in a kind of rural area where yeah, anyway, whatever, like, that's getting quite, like, she and I were incredibly different people. Like, she is a Cantabrian. I would not even say she's a Christchurchian. That is a fucking Cantabrian woman. And I am a Wellington weirdo. I don't even fit into Wellington. It's like, I'm too much of a fucking weirdo for Wellington. But, we're not probably going to agree on fucking very much at all. And so we both agreed that the conditions that cows are left and out in paddocks with hardly any shelter in many farms, unless it happens to just be there in the shape of, or if in fact an actual tree. And just not even a hedge to hide behind and that kind of thing. And she and I were right on the same page about that. And as a sensible vegan, a pragmatic vegan, I'm really pleased to see that there are people who are not vegan, and she's not a vegan, who can tell the difference between slaughtering livestock and torturing livestock while they're alive, and I certainly don't have any problem with sorry, I do have a problem with animals being slaughtered for meat, but I have a far, far, far bigger problem with them living miserable conditions till they die. I think it's better to be slaughtered than that. And that's about as deep as I want to go, because after that, I mean, that could have verged on something a bit uncomfortable. So suffice it to say, I was not the best saviour for my mum, and I was very impatient with her because I didn't understand PTSD, and she was extraordinarily fucking annoying with her PTSD. Hey, people with PTSD, kind of difficult to deal with. Sorry, we didn't choose it. And she was fucking freaking out about all the things that she had to do. Like, so many fucking things to do that she couldn't do. And she was really fucking breaking and shrieking and, you know... and I'm like, oh my God. And then the thing is, it's not that I was being particularly compassionate. It was just that I was like... okay, I'm hearing what she's saying. And I said, okay, so right now, everything in your life is right in front of your eyes, because your PTSD is preventing you from seeing the perspective of them. So you can't see where they actually are placed, and we're talking in terms of priority of importance. They're all right there, and because you're not allowed to, your condition has not allowed you to see them as anything else right here. And she said that's exactly how it feels. Like, I think she was just very grateful and quite shocked to be, to have that said to her about what she was experiencing, which she couldn't articulate, because we're not very good at articulating ourselves when we're under this pressure. And I said, okay, so in that case, you're not going to be able to do any kind of prioritising. You're not going to be able to look at all those things like they're in a fucking file of facts. You have to just push them all away, get rid of all of them. She says, but I have to. And I said, I know, I haven't finished yet. But I said, to start with, you're just going to get rid of all of them, put them all away, just get rid of every single fucking one of them. And now you've got a nice blank, I think I said like a clean plate in front of you. And I said, now what you do is you find the things that belong on that plate of things that you have to eat, and you leave everything off that doesn't need to be there. And I don't think she got it immediately, and I don't think I was very patient while she didn't get it, but she did. And she realised that virtually everything that she felt she had to do immediately, virtually none of it she had to do. And of those things that she did need to do, many of those things were not urgent, even if they were important. Because, you know, one of the great things is to learn the difference between urgent and important. So it's like, yeah, they can totally wait till after the mediation. And, you know, and we're not even talking about other people doing them for her. We're just saying, look, these are not things you need to do at the moment. They're just not. They're absolutely not. Like, no, there are no consequences to their not being done. And so there were a few things that she had on her plate, and one off, you know, I was preparing for the mediation, which, as I said, she, like, way, like, I think she prepped harder than, fucking the Watergate fucking file. Like, it was this huge fucking, yeah, anyway, whatever. But, you know, she did recognise that's all she needed to focus on, really, plus a couple of other things just to keep sort of the household